thing he would hate to admit. Because we see of the person that Peter was, he was very proud that he was never afraid, that he was always strong and always willing to fight. Sometimes when we're asked to do what we're not used to, it's tougher than doing what we're used to. For some people, for Jesus to ask them to fight, that is no big deal. I can tell you that's who I am. I'm like waiting for the moment for Jesus to tell me, like Samson, to go and push the pillars down and destroy all the evil that's around me. Fighting's not hard for me. It's something I grew up with. It's something I know. It's something that's not a big deal. Being willing to suffer and not fight? Oh, that's a whole nother issue. Being willing to place it in God's hands and trust that whatever God says is going to happen will take place. I hate that. When God says I'm supposed to love in response rather than fight, it's much easier for me to choose to fight. For many of us, that's the easy thing. And for Peter, that was the easy thing. He was willing to take on a whole group of centurion soldiers, the finest of the battling centurion soldiers with armored plates and swords that Peter didn't have. Peter probably just had a little sword, and he drew his sword in the garden and was ready to fight them by himself. But what was Peter afraid of? Well, it tells us later on here. Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" And he said, "Lord, you know all things. You know I love you." And Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. And I tell you the truth. When you were younger, you dressed yourself, and you went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." Jesus says things are going to happen to you, Peter, that you're not going to like. In fact, it says here, Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. And then he said to him, "Follow me."